This is Kay, Lady Kay. She was the person that Nick pressed at Kayla's hearing. So this is an interview with TV's Herren. Her first-hand experience from the Rekieta trial today. If you want to hear it, if you want to see this interview, press a 1. This will probably be the last thing of tonight's stream. There's some other stuff that maybe I'll save for tomorrow. This lady, yeah, she's quite sweet. It seems like she was the victim of something very similar to what's happening to Nick's kids. So she has a personal interest in this. Let's say quite a lot of ones. All right, we'll take a look. So this is on, but I want to give him a shout out. This is TV's Herren. This is the first time I've seen his channel. No, just kidding. Will Herren, he does a lot of clips. It's kind of similar vein to what Alyssa Clips does, although he also does interviews. And as a TV personality, this woman, Miss K, reached out to him to do some first-hand interviews after Nick threatened her, basically. So previously, if you missed out the last one, if you list the last one, what happened is that she's a concerned citizen, so that's why she goes to these things. And she had a similar thing happen to her. It sounds like, and I don't know, but from what she said, it sounds like she was in a household where the parents were drug abusers, and that as children they were abused. So it's quite an emotional thing for her, and she gets a little bit upset in the first interview, and that's perfectly fine. Like if you've gone through that sort of trauma, perfectly understandable. But she went to Kayla's hearing, and she was the only observer there, I believe. And Nick rushed out of the courtroom so he could get his phone and he was like pretending to record her by like doing this thing. You know, when you get the phone and you like hold it up to your chest and you're pretending you're not like you're just holding it, but it's super obvious. And she went up to Nick and said, like, "Are you recording me?" And then he was like, "No," and so started doing the virgin walk away, like head down, virgin walk away, while he's being pressed by this woman. And then she decided to press him further, and like, "Well, wait a minute. If you're going to record me, I'm going to ask you some questions." And then she said, like, "I'm a concerned citizen," and Nick was like, "No, you're not. You're not a concerned citizen." And basically he tried to record her, and then Nick would go into Melton's chat and then say like, "Oh, they're sending they're sending the worst goblins after me. They're just they're all, let me show you what these Kiwi farmers look like. Like I might drop the whole video if I feel like it." And then she decided to drop her own video and go on an interview with TV's Herren, just to take the wind out of his sail, and because he's trying to not abuse, but he's trying to threaten and hold some power over her. So he took the power away. Anyway, that's the preamble. So this is TV Herren. It says, "Kay is back in the Candio High Courthouse for the Rekieta hearing. Awkwardness between Kayla and April." So apparently there's trouble in paradise, as we would know there is. 1.25 speed, about 35. This will be about 15, 20 minutes, I think.
Welcome back. It's been a minute since I've seen you. You look great. You had a little bit of an adventure today. Kate?
I called the courthouse. I didn't expect it to be open to the public, so I called ahead of time, and they assured me that I'd be able to watch the hearing. So I went ahead and went in, and I was running late, and so I was the frazzled one this time.
Yeah, so last time Nick showed up to the court case for April late, and the judge chastised them for that. Now, some people have suggested that Nick is trying to sabotage other people's court cases. Maybe based on today's filing, Kayla's one, that I could believe it. But the previous one is like Nick was talking. There was an implication that Nick was making like this trap situation for April, where she's in this house with no internet. He's defending her in his traffic court, and he doesn't just show up, so she's going to lose his license, be more dependent on him. I could definitely see it. Like that sort of behavior from a narcissist doesn't surprise me whatsoever. Maybe that's what he's doing. He's trying to sabotage one person so that he can come out of this alive. Maybe that's all he cares about, is just getting what's his. But who can say? But anyway, Nick was late last time. Now this woman was late.
And as I got there and was going up the stairs, I saw April at the top of the stairs. And I wasn't expecting that. I think it caught both of us off guard.
So you're walking into the courthouse, a little nervous, you're a little late, so you're trying to get in there. And I guess as soon as you walk in, there's a staircase to go up to put your stuff through a metal detector, or what are you talking about?
Okay, yeah. So when you first walk in, you put your phone in a locker and then go through doors. There is a metal detector there.
Yeah, so like that's one thing. If you do go to one of these court cases, don't try and sneak a phone into the courtroom. That's illegal. And that's why Nick had to run out of the court case last time, because he had to go retrieve his phone from the locker so that he could get a picture of this woman who he thought was a Kiwi farmer. Now, she claims that she's not a Kiwi farmer and that she does read the Kiwi farms from time to time, but she does not have an account.
And then right at the end of the metal detector, there's stairs going up. And so I'm grabbing myself off the belt from the metal detector and turn to go up the stairs. And as I look up the stairs, April's at the top of the stairs saying something to the guy running the metal detector, but it caught me off guard, so I didn't even catch what she said. But she came down as...
You know what I bet she was just talking about? She probably had all that shit on her arms. She's like, officer, do I really need to take off my bangles? Like, you can't expect me, a girl, not to look as good as I do. She had apparently 4 bracelets on each hand and a ring on every single fucking finger, as well as holographic nails. That's probably exactly what it was. She's just literally arguing that she didn't want to take off her fucking jewelry because she's dressing like a whore to her man slut's court case.
I went up, and then I got upstairs, and I saw somebody sitting on the bench.
Hold on. So you guys passed each other? Did you look at each other? Like, what was that like?
No, it caught me off guard. I looked down and went up the stairs, and yeah, she passed me. And
did she recognize you?
I think right when we locked eyes when she was at the top of the stairs, it seemed like there was a recognition there. And
I think almost certainly she does recognize her, just because Nick was talking about this woman, and April follows everything that Nick does. For some reason, April is completely mind broken by Nick, and she would just follow him to the ends of the earth.
There she is.
Did she look away like real fast, or did you look away? Like, how did it work?
I looked down.
Stare down?
Yeah. No.
Oh, the virgin looked down.
Okay, so you're getting up to the top.
Last time she was the Chad, but now she's the virgin.
She passes you. You're like, oh my God, that's April Anderson that just walked right past you. Then what are you doing?
I turn and I start walking towards the courtroom, and the doors are already closed. And I was like, oh shit, they started it. Am I allowed to go in? Or like, so I saw somebody sitting outside taking notes. And but right as I go in to open the door to go in the courtroom, Nick comes out. And we're
the boulder man shows up.
He was coming out right as I was going in, and him, I guess his lawyer, went out, and I went ahead and went in, and somebody else was having a hearing.
So do you like hold the door for you? He's like, you went in?
I don't even remember. Like, I was frazzled this time. Like they were last time. I was truly frazzled and like.
That would have been really funny. Like that would have been really funny if Nick had a bit of sense of humor, he would have held the door open for her. But that reminded me of something, which is my new favorite meme, which is holding the door open slightly for people. Like this is what Nick should have done. If he wanted to assert dominance, he should have held the door open this slightly. And then he could have suggested that she was having too many sandwiches or something, which is right up his alley of humor. But I don't know. This would have been incredibly funny if this actually happened. I want to see that reality. Like the pettiness of it. I want to see that. There's just something so funny about it.
Everything was just kind of a blur when I first got there until I had time to sit down and recenter myself.
So you walk right past Nick's lawyers. You then sit down in the benches, and then you realize it's something else going on, not yours, or?
Yeah. It was a different courtroom, and there was no benches. There rows of plastic seats. Gray plastic seats.
I bet I know exactly what fucking plastic seat it is. You know that white one that everybody has in their backyard, and it's covered in like moss and shit because you leave it outside forever. It's like the patio furniture that everyone has. I bet it's like that. I want to see this courtroom. I wish that we could have taken phones inside of it.
And it was a little bigger this time. But Kayla was sitting over on the other aisle, and
in this courtroom.
Yes, and she had like a
different notes I'm talking about.
Oh, salad or something.
Oh my goodness! I forgot to turn on my. You know what? No, you guys can watch the fucking Chinese ballet ad. I'll switch to my YouTube Premium account in a second. But yeah, let's watch the Chinese ballet ad. There we go. My girlfriend's been using my computer again, and all she does is watch ballet videos. So I just get ballet videos all the time, allegedly. Oh, look, and Gillette, apparently. It's the best a man can get. I don't know why an Asian man would need a Gillette razor, but apparently they do. All right, we're 4 minutes into this. Now that I know the timestamp, I can switch to my YouTube Premium account. Oh, my God. 4 minutes. There we go. All right. Resuming on premium mode. There we go.
A food container? They said boot, like a food container?
I'll go back a few seconds. There we go.
Oh, salad or something?
A food container? They said boot, like a food container?
Food, yeah.
Like she brought food with her, like she brought her lunch to go to court.
Seemed like it. Yeah. So I sat there for about, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes. And there was an old guy that was up there.
The
His case was
judge?
about
Oh.
driving under the influence of methamphetamines. And he was an old.
Hey, then they could have got along with Nick. That'd be nice. They're very relatable. Very relatable that there's someone in court for crack use as the Rekieta comes into the courtroom.
You know Nick. He's like, hey, Nick, is there a kid of law? Hey, I need some help.
Yeah, it was future Nick, and he had a pretty, she was an older lady, but a pretty wife. Like, and he was like a mess. But anyway, I thought that was funny.
Homewrecker.
Yeah. So I ended up going back out, and
Kayla stayed inside.
Kayla stayed inside at first, and then
what was she dressed like? I mean, last time you said she looked a little disheveled. This time was she, like normal? She just ready to have some num nums, or
they were all dressed nicer this time. Nick was in a suit. Kayla was in.
So Nick didn't wear a suit to his wife's hearing, but he wore a suit to his own hearing. Makes you think, doesn't it?
Black slacks and black coat or gray coat. I should have took notes. It's better. Yeah, and then.
But she was professional.
Yes. Yeah, it was a cute little jacket and slacks.
Ah, this makes sense. Okay, now I see what's happening. Hold on a second. This makes sense. I have to do something that is anathema to me. Nick had to put on a fucking suit. That's why he's so mad. He had to show his boys how to be a man by putting on a suit because he had to be busy. He had to be businessman for a day. Holy shit. That is complete anathema to his sitting at home drinking persona.
Nice.
And then April had on black jeans and boots, like almost like combat boots.
Yeah, I think that's what the Kiwi farmer said, that she had dirty combat boots. But she was out in the fields because she's locked in the trap house and all she's allowed to do is eat salad, drink well water that's like really hard brown well water, and hunt for deer. That's how she keeps her trim figure. Salad and deer hunting. But one day she's going to hunt the deadliest game, Nick's wife, and then wear her skin around the house because she wants to live in the big house.
Did she have her bow and arrow with her? Was she like just done crossbow shooting or whatever?
No, she had a lot of jewelry on, a lot of rings, and but
did you see any of her tattoos?
I saw Kayla's tattoos on her feet, on the top of her feet. But no, I didn't.
Not even wearing closed shoes. Like, wear some fucking socks to court, woman.
I didn't see her tattoos. She had a jacket on too.
How did she seem? Was she like, just like, I'm just hanging out? Was it like the first time she got out of the house and she was like, let's do a bunch of stuff? Or like, what was she like?
Well, yeah. So after I went to the bathroom, I came and sat down on the bench next to the other person, a Kiwi farmer, taking notes. And
is she going to tell us? I want to know about the Kiwi farmer. Tell me about how much of a normal dude he is.
I didn't realize that yet, but April was standing out in the hall at that point, and she was leaning against the wall and just looking down a lot, seeming a little fidgety.
So Black Belt Ray, welcome to member. And
they all had like a defeated type of energy this time. Like
that seems like it was corroborated by the Kiwi story as well. That like everyone is like sighing, they're all depressed. I mean, if I was in this situation, I would be too. To be fair, I with another £2 says eating the face of an animal is degenerate. Oh, I guess you're talking about me and my fish feast. Where was I? Where was it? Here. I got another message about this. People get really mad about this. Apparently, they're saying this is me. Oops, sorry, wrong one. So there's we didn't eat the fish head. It was just on display. Okay, I'm not eating plates of fish heads like Hugo. All right, this isn't me. It's just there for aesthetics. Oh my god.
Much more subdued, I'd almost say like humbled, a little humbled.
Wow.
Then Kayla came out of the courtroom and they had like a little interaction about the food and that Kayla was holding. And then Kayla said something to April about, I was going to save it, see if Nick wanted it or something like that. But the interaction seemed forced.
So she's eating a salad in the courtroom when she's already on her rabbit starvation diet where she has to hunt for deer and eat salad. And she's like, well, maybe Nick would want a piece of lettuce when he comes out of the trip. Like, what the fuck? I mean, that's almost endearing in how addicted she is to this man.
Awkward and yeah, like they were being cordial because they knew they were being watched.
Do they seem like sister wives?
Well, like competing sister wives, yes. Like there's that, not like the picture we saw from the first hearing, and how their body language at the first hearing was way different than now between the two of them.
What was it like now? What was the difference?
Well, the first hearing, April wasn't in the courtroom, but outside, they were just seemed like they were all gathered like a group and talking and like all friendly. It was very friendly. When watching the group, they just all.
All right, there's no footage from inside the courtroom, but our court mandated artists did. We do have one court art picture from. This is April. She's eating the big salad during the court case. This is an artist's interpretation of what the bench was like in Minnesota today.
We're interacting like really well and naturally, and this time it just everything seemed very forced, and it just seemed like kind of a coldness between them.
Wow. So you guys are sitting.
All right,
outside.
sorry. Before Will goes into his next thing, there's an interesting question here that says April is acting like an abused woman. You're incorrect. She's not acting like an abused woman. She is an abused woman. But no, you said April is acting like an abused woman. Likely happened before Nick, and now she thinks he's her only hope. Really, really sad. It is really sad, and I think that it's like the lost. The waiting for the lost, the boss fallacy, right? Like the more time you invest into something, even if the result is it'd just be better to cut and run, the more you are determined to stay. So I think that they've gone through this trauma bonding together. It's very unlikely that they're going to be separate from it now. Two Roy Studio for 5 says April SA Kayla food sexual Kayla's food and what? What do you mean SA? April SA Kayla's food and lamented, oh my god, is that food? I forgot what it looks like. Oh, saw. April saw Kayla's food and lamented. No, it's April who has the food, not Kayla. It's April who has the food. And Scarebro with a 5 just came in, says Nick wants the child endangerment dropped so he can salvage his E-rep, planning on basing himself as an alternative lifestyle family man and Christian philosopher. I agree with this take. I think that's definitely what it is. I think that's what he said, because he was confirmed to have offered a plea deal. He said this on Onion Show, and he said it wasn't great, it wasn't good. I think that's exactly what he's asked for. Is he says he'll plead guilty, he'll take anything. They have to drop the child endangerment charge. Don't have any evidence for this, but this is my gut feeling, and it seems like a lot of people feel the same way. Let's continue.
You're hanging out with this kiwi farmer. That person is taking notes and stuff like that, like a bunch of notes. What was that person like?
Quiet and taking notes. Yeah.
Did you speak at all to Kayla or to April? Was there an opportunity to speak with them?
No, I did make eye contact with Kayla a couple times. I actually gave like a half smile, but did not receive one back. With April.
So she's not going to be invited to the throuple. She didn't get the warm reception from the second girl. Plus, April doesn't want to have any more competition as it is.
Oh yeah. We didn't even really make eye contact though. Like we glanced at each other, but Kayla kept looking at me.
Really? So she probably recognized you from this video from last time. And so she's like, that's that girl. And then Nick had gotten a video of you as well, took pictures of you. So I bet you, she probably put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
Wow. What would you have said to her if she came to talk to you?
Well, the first hearing, we were in the bathroom alone. Well, her and her mother were in the bathroom with me alone.
They got spies in the bathroom. Everywhere you look. You're going to talk to your mother in the bathroom? They've got the farms has the spies.
I didn't say anything that time. This time, if I would have saw her, the only thing I want to say is, are you aware of what April and Nick are doing on Twitter? And if you're not, you need to be. And that I am praying for her and the kids. And I hope she leans on her family. And that's what I would say to her if I had the chance.
What do you think? What would you say to April if you could talk to her one-on-one?
Nothing.
Really?
She's where she wants to be. She's doing there's no reason for me to talk to April. I mean, and she doesn't have kids or anything to, let her do what she wants to do. But I really do hope Kayla gets.
I mean, I can understand that point of view, but I feel like the message to April should be loud and clear. Get out. There is no benefit or winning scenario for April April seems to think that she can replace Kayla and become like the man of the house. And she said this on Twitter. She said as much. She said she wants to be Mrs. Rekieta. She changed her Instagram profile, her Twitter profile to April Law, which this is stupid because Nick's last name isn't Law, Rekieta Law. That's his brand. But she wants to be Kayla. She wants to be the mom of the house. She says that she wants to be the stepmom. And it seems like that's a thing that she's repeated from Aaron's relationship, because Aaron, I believe, had kids before her and she doesn't have any kids of her own. There's no way that Nick's going to abandon the mother for her. She's just a side piece. She's an interesting distraction. And as soon as she's not interesting and this court case is gone, she's being dropped to the curb and she's going to be told to get out. And it seems like Kayla's already put her foot down and told her to fuck off. That's why allegedly they're broken up and is no longer the girlfriend, right? So April really needs to salvage what she has left of her life. Like, even if you make a mistake, even if you fuck up your life, you can always come back from it, provided you're not dead or in prison. So she needs to work to get out of the court case. Just find the easiest way out. You don't have to necessarily turn on Nick. To get out, the ape escape has to happen. We need the ape escape. Then she needs to go make her life better, whatever it is that she wants to pursue in life. She needs to get a fucking job. Stop living as like the deer hunting side slam piece that Nick only invites around when his wife's asleep or passed out watching Star Trek. And just make some, go find out what makes her happy, because Nick's not going to make her happy. As soon as she's outlived her usefulness, she's gone. That's the way it is.
Things together and is able to put those kids first. I mean, I hope Nick can get things together. I just don't have faith in it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's not even it's not even that she's a prostitute. She's just like a pet. But she's the best kind of pet, because she feeds and eats. She feeds and waters herself, and then she's just there, ready and waiting. She, by her own admission, she just waits in the house all day, waiting for Nick's call. Say, all right, booty call, wife's asleep, let's go. And then he just walks across the lawn, and she's there waiting. She does nothing else. Her entire life, her entire hobby is just waiting for that call. Chum Buns, member for 1 month, says, odds on Kayla going for a walk in the woods with April and never coming back. I think it's much higher than it should be. Like, I joke about Kayla going out and then getting caught by the deer hunter, and then April just wears Kayla's skin or some shit. I think the chances of that happening are actually a lot higher than they should be. It's kind of be concerning to me, honestly. If you've got a woman, an experienced hunter in your backyard who literally wants your position and you're treating her like a cold bitch now, yeah, I'd be concerned. April Cheney, that's what's going to happen.
I'd like to see them have that family unit. I can't picture that happening with Nick in the picture.
Wow. So it's Nick and April. You think that's the problem is Kayla just should be with the family and stuff like that. Like, Nick and April are what's causing the problem with the family.
In my opinion. And yeah, I think I want whatever gives the kids the best, most stable life, and whatever it takes to get them that's what I hope happens. That means Nick goes to jail or long-term rehab or something. Or even Kayla too. With my mom, some of the best times we had, or we were the closest, and the bonding was the best when we weren't even living in the same house, when it was phone calls and when she was.
So again, her mother was apparently a drug addict, and I believe that she was abused as a child as well.
My mom went to prison. When she was in prison, she was healthy, and we could actually have real conversations and connect in a way that I didn't get to connect with her, even living in the same house with her. So there is, for people who think that being taken away from your parents, if you're living with family members that are giving the kids a good life, that is valuable, and they'll still be able to have a relationship with their parents. And I personally enjoyed my relationship with my mother more when I didn't live with her.
You're at the courthouse. Kayla has had her num-nums, and I guess April's hungry too, or they're going to save it for dear leader, who is talking with the lawyers and such. So does Nick come out? Or are you all just kind of sitting there waiting around? I mean,
Nick's off in a conference room, and he comes out, starts walking up to them, and he comes up. The bailiff is out there, and Nick has a bottle of pop, as they call it here. I'm not from here, so I call it soda, but it was a bottle of Coke. He actually had Coke, And he said,
He doesn't learn.
But did he do it on purpose, you think? I mean, Coke is like the #1 drink, right? Like, do you think he did it on purpose? Taking a little bit of Coke to his courtroom. I mean, there's probably a vending machine there, and it's like the most readily available thing. It's very funny though. Not very funny, but it's funny and weird. We'll call it funny and weird.
yeah.
High
And the bitch was
fructose
like, you can't take
goy
that
slop.
Coke in there. Or I think he said pop. You can't take that pop in there.
He said, 1 minute.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm ready.
I found that amusing. I was like, oh, he's trying to bring Coke in the courtroom and he can't.
He really is addicted.
Yeah.
Okay, so he gets the soda, gets 86. And then it's just you, 3 or 4 people? Well, 5 with the bailiff? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, so we go in the courtroom, and the judge and lawyers went back in the judge's chambers, and me and the Kiwi farmers sat down, and then over by the door, Nick was standing with his back like towards the judge's desk, or what is that? It's not like
Seat? His
The
throne?
bench. Right?
yeah, whatever that is.
His perch?
Yeah, it's
All
not.
right. So Adriana says, we say cola over here. Over here, like over here, we call it this.
Please give me Coke. Coke. It's Coke. It's in English. I still remember the first time I went to America. I was at the airplane. I asked flight attendants that, can I get a cola? And she asked me, excuse me? I keep saying, cola, cola, cola. But it was not cola, it was Coke. It was Coke. It's Coke, actually, right? So maybe
I haven't seen this edit of it. That's a bit too much. I wasn't prepared for that. I got jump scared by that one. Scarebro said, scary if you realize Nick is trapped with Kayla so long as she can divorce, rape him, and have custody of the kids, but wants April. Kayla versus Wild. Kayla versus Wild is pretty funny. On Bear Grylls, and we got 2 women to survive in these deer-infested woods in Minnesota. It's Kayla and April versus the Wild. Oh, man, I'd pay to see that. Hunger Games over there. It's the real Hunger Games. I mean, they're hungry. They're fighting over a fucking big salad. With 5 pounds from Maya says, you're being way too mean and conspiratorial. The 3 of them there will have a civil chat, and one of the women will join Mama AF and travel the world. True. That could happen as well. JF, I think there was something about JF in the news recently. Like he was leaving Quebec or something, and the cops tried to pull him over, and he was escaping with his new potato wife. I'm not sure what that is. I haven't had enough time to follow up on that yet. Well, all right, let's see what we're about halfway through this.
Not a pulpit like a preacher, but yeah.
It's bench.
There you go. I think
Yeah,
that's
bench.
The bench. Approach the bench.
it. Yeah. So Nick had his
Nick would know.
back to there, and the 2 girls, they were kind of like standing in a triangle, but looking down at the floor a lot. They were talking to each other, but not loud enough for us to hear. And it was weird. There was a weird, awkward tension. It would get real quiet, like to where, nobody was saying a word.
So you were outside of the courtroom, just sitting there waiting on the lawyers to do their job, or?
We were in the courtroom at this point. We came
Oh,
in.
so all you guys are in there. So could you talk to each other while you were there? Like you just say, hey, Nick, what's going on? Like, could you do that? And it'd be okay? Like they would be like, silence the judges, or you know what I mean?
No. The bailiff stood by the door, right outside the door. And there was nobody else in there but the 5 of us. And yeah, because the judge and the lawyers were behind the door in the judge's chambers. So yeah, it was weird. We could have totally said something to them. But
Next one, girl. That's what you have to do. You have to talk to these people. Don't be afraid. Talk to them. All they can do is not talk back.
Will's gonna get this woman murdered. He's like, yeah, you should go up and harass Nick. Go up and call him a pussy. Let's see what happens. I don't know about that, Miss K. She's probably doing the right thing. Just be a quiet observer. While it would be, don't get me wrong, it'd be very funny to see her taunt Nick in the courtroom and see him seethe. Not a good idea. Like, let's take a step back from the internet insanity for a second and just remember that we do live in a society. Don't touch the cows.
I don't have
exactly.
anything to say to Nick or April. I really don't.
You don't have to have anything to say to him. Just say something to him. Just have him say something back to you. Like, hey, Nick, nice shirt. You know what I mean? And just see what he says. I know that's tacky, but like you can say something and see what he does back to you, Same with like all of them, any of them.
She should go up to Nick and be like, where did you get those clothes? The toilet shop? and then just don't say anything and leave the courtroom and see what happens.
Get a response.
I don't have any desire to talk to the two. Like, and I told you what I would say to Kayla.
Yeah.
And
so basically there to like, so
Right,
in this, are you like with
funny.
Kayla kind of thing? Like, if you were to be sitting on the side of the court, would you see like on Kayla's side? Like,
I mean, if there was a side, and I'm not saying that I think Kayla is like innocent in this and that she's like a victim or like, no, she's culpable and she participated in all of it. Just she is the mother to those 5 kids, and if anybody has a chance, I think it's her to turn this around. I think it's her, and I can honestly see with a husband like Nick how she might have ended up in the place where she was at. According, I never watched Nick. I've only gone back and seen clips and stuff now. I had never seen Kayla on the show until after they got arrested and stuff, and I've gone back to see clips. But I can see how a woman could be worn down, especially hearing how he talked about her body being destroyed. And if that's what he's willing to say to his public, humongous audience, imagine what he says to her in private.
So for context, what's happening here is Nick was drunk on a stream, and he was talking about how having 5 kids makes your wife's body absolutely destroyed. He was drunk. I can't remember the exact quote. Somebody has the clip, but it's really like embarrassing and disgusting to actually hear about the wife, allegedly the love of your life, mother of your 5 children, and he's just like, yeah, my wife's body is fucking gross. Her pussy's all blown out. She's had 5 kids. It's like a hot dog in a hallway down. Like, what the fuck? Don't say that about your wife. Like, she sacrificed to bring those people into the world. Like, holy shit. Just don't talk about your wife online. I think that's cavernous. I don't know why this made me laugh. It's grim. It's just I think it's the juxtaposition of like the grimmest face and just grim. It's like cavernous. Hello.
I can see how she might get
very
worn
rude,
down
very
and
rude chat.
narcissistic tendencies, and her just wanting to please her husband, and him, it not being good enough, and like I can see where that would wear on somebody, where they might want to take drugs to numb and whatever, and that doesn't excuse neglecting the kids. So
do you think it's to numb or to please him?
Probably both. Maybe to please him at first, and then realize that wait, then I don't have to feel all those feelings I was feeling. That kind of helps, and that became easier. I'm just speculating, but I can totally see how that could happen. And I 100% think that's why April's in the picture, or why they've gone down this path. I've read that people believe that she's the one who initiated this lifestyle, and I don't believe that for a second.
Right, you think it was Nick, and then saw the opportunity to have an April, and I guess she just is. I'm not afraid, but maybe afraid to say no, or is that the proper word? What do you think?
I think she probably she's afraid to lose him, and she wants to do whatever it takes to keep him, and she may.
I think just talking about April for a second. April kind of has a pattern, and she's like a branch swinging monkey who only goes up, and that's why April can't leave Nick. Is that she met Herren, who is a small-time radio host, small show, but he does all great. He gets money at least. I mean, for all I make fun of Herren saying he begs too much, he seems to meet his goal, right? So she was like dating an small-town internet celebrity, and then she got a taste of the action herself. But then she suddenly gets introduced to this guy who's a much bigger channel, hundreds of thousands of subscribers. At one point, the biggest live streamer on YouTube, 100,000 concurrent viewers. So the only man that she can go to now, she can't go down. She can't go date, she can't go down to Kurt's channel or something, right? Because he's only got 100,000. You can't go down. So the only way that April will leave Nick is if she finds someone with like 1 million subscribers or something. She can only go up because even though her value, and I don't think this is personally I don't think it's actually her value, but this is how she perceives her value. As her value is decreasing as she's getting older and more like deer trodden, I suppose, from deer hunting in Nick's backyard, she can only aspire to go higher. So it's these two different angles in what she has and what she wants, which is competing. So that's why she'll never leave the Rekieta until she's forced out by being evicted from the house he's currently living in. Cybertaz of the 5 says, a killer nanny would make a good straight-to-video movie. April in the star in the movie, and the hand that rocks the cradle too, that hoe that cucks the toe. That's pretty good. The hoe that cucks the toe. I like that one. But everyone knows the inevitable biopic of April is going to be called Coming in April.
Even think it was her idea, because I think he's manipulative enough to make her think it was her idea. I see through Nick. I don't know that there is any helping Nick. I really don't know if there. I think his mask came off, and that's who he's been at his for the whole time. That's my opinion.
Wow. Okay, so you guys are all hanging out in the courtroom. You're waiting on more procedural stuff to go down. The Kiwi farmer is just doing their thing. Did they even acknowledge you at all? Like,
we still don't have confirmation Nick ever fucked April. I guess that's technically correct, but he definitely stuck his balls in her. Scarecrow with another 5. Thank you for the big support today. Says, best for Nick to get a sentence of 3 months. Victims need to be separated and reassert themselves from Nick's parents as well. Enablers. I don't know if that's necessarily the case. I would think that being put in prison would surely snap him into reality. I would like to see a no prison version of this outcome, because I have $20 riding on the case, and I want to keep my $20.
did you guys have a conversation?
Nick, Kayla, and April walked into the courtroom, and the two of us were back a little bit, and I looked at them and said, "Are you reporting too?" And they said yes, and I was like, "Okay, cool." And then we walked in. We sat by each other,
Nice.
one chair.
Maybe the real court case was the friends we made all along, eh? While waiting for Nick to come out and get his deal.
Separating us.
Suffer $20. Yeah, exactly. I'm suffering. over here.
So yeah, we didn't.
Not feeling
we
so
did
good. $20
have a
bros.
little session walking out of the courthouse, but
So inside the courtroom, so does like Nick sit in the middle, and then like Kayla and April on each side? I was like,
they never
little
sat.
shunned. Like,
They never sat down. They stayed standing. They were talking.
What is that noise? Well, my leg was stiff, chat, and I had to rub it so that it was. I was trying to rub my leg, so because it was painful, and that's why I was grimacing as well.
Like I said, we could not hear them, but there was an awkwardness. And at one point, Kayla reaches up and puts her hand on. Oh, I forgot. When we first got in there and we first sat down, he goes and gives Kayla a hug, and then he goes and gives April a hug. And then, then they stood in that like triangle. And then
I wanted to hear that he goes and gives April a hug and a kiss, and then he gives Kayla a firm handshake. That's what I wanted to hear. That would have been too funny. She should have lied and just said that to Kayla, because the funnier alternative is always the true alternative. That would have been really funny. Goes in, kisses April, gives Kayla a handshake. Hey, honey. I'm sorry. I find that very funny. A fist bump, that'd be pretty good. Oh dear. JB Behemoth with 2 says, catching up Mr. Magoo comments are very funny and true. Thank you very much. I think it is very funny. And Scarecrow with another 2 says, temp jail gets Kayla away from Nick's mind games. Yeah, maybe, but I still think that it's better for the kids not to be separated from their parents. They've already been apart for 77 days. I know a lot of people don't want them around them because they think that they can't be parents anymore. I think that's not the case. I think that it's rare. It's certainly rare that a drug addict can get back to being a good parent, but it's not impossible. And I want to believe in the happy ending.
They were there for a while, 5-10 minutes, talking while we're just sitting there waiting. And at one point I look up and Kayla has her hand on Nick. It was kind of awkward. She just kept it there. Nick never acknowledged that her hand was there. I kept seeing April look and look away, and Kayla just kept almost claiming her territory. It felt like, and April looked very uncomfortable with that.
Drop something in my glass.
did it look like April belonged in the group type thing, or was like how does this dynamic look? How does it feel like? You know what I'm saying? You see.
Yeah, that's true. There's no happy endings in this. The only happy ending is in the Twin Cities, according to Nick.
people that are like together, like they're together. But in this situation, like it seems like Kayla's wanting to be with her man, and then there's this other foreign body kind of on the side. Like, how is that dynamic?
I saw this question brought up, but so Deez, I think someone else asked this as well. Are you going to cover the casino being felted, or are you janning it up? My thoughts on this is that I don't really care, and that's because if I go to my bathroom and I look in the toilet and I see a piece of shit in there, it's not great, but I can live with it, right? But if I go into the kitchen and there's just shit on my table, now I've got a problem. Like, if you tell me that Andy Warski and was having a coke-fueled bender in Vegas, I'm not surprised. Maybe I'm a little bit disappointed, but I don't necessarily think this means that he's been lying about being sober. I think Ashton posted a video, PPP, or as people are calling him now, PPP Diddy, which is very funny, by the way. I think he posted something today. Do you guys want to see that? Do you guys want to see that video? I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it's degenerate as fuck, but they're both single guys. I don't really care too much about it. I think they should just get on and do their show and make people laugh, and they'll be fine. People want to see the video? The one on Ashton. Do you guys want to? All right. Do you guys want to watch that? We'll watch the end of this. This is a Nick theme stream. We'll go back to it. With the actual Vegas story though, like I feel like 80% of it's probably true. Like, did they have a $20,000 vacation to Vegas? I bet that's true. Did they lose money in Vegas? I bet that's true. Did they have coke and alcohol? I bet that's true. Did somebody have hookers? I bet that's true. But the part of the story where it's like 5 Medica masochists for 5 black hookers, like that part of the story, I feel like that's exaggerated. That seems like fantasy to me. Like they all like show up in the hall or some shit. It was Vegas. I mean, maybe. Like, that's the thing. That's the thing is, like, I want to say that like the 5 hookers showing up is just fantasy make believe. But then again, the sector, you never know. You never know. But if you guys want to watch Ashton's video, I guess we could maybe watch it at the end of this video.
It just felt awkward. It didn't feel cohesive. Yeah, I get the impression that Kayla's not wanting to let go, and April's not wanting to let go, and I think Nick wants April, but is shackled by Kayla.
Wow, that's.
I'll put a vote. I'll put a vote up there. How about that?
So you guys are in the courtroom. They're standing up in their triangle, awkward poses. You guys are just sitting there taking notes. The judge and the lawyer comes back. What else happens while you guys are waiting? Like, how does that go down?
Yeah, they finally come out, and everybody starts filing out of the courtroom. And we're just sitting there, and we look at each other, and we're like, okay. And Nick went to walk. He walked out, and then he turned around and motioned like this. And I didn't know if he was motioning to them. It almost felt like he was motioning for us. And I said to the other person, I was like, you do that to us? Yeah. And so they went out. I didn't see where they went by the time we left the doors. The bailiff was standing there, and me and the other person were like looking at each other going, what's going on? What do we do? Where are we going? And we asked the bailiff, and he said, it's over. We're like, what? And he said, yeah, it's over. And I said, well, what happened? And he said, well, they had a closed conference, or I can't remember the exact phrase, closed chamber conference or something like that.
Like back room. They disappeared into the back rooms. That's what happened.
And what happened? And he's like, well, I don't know. I wasn't in there. And I was like, okay. So yeah, that was it. It was over. And like I said, I had assumed that it wasn't going to be open before. That's why I called the courthouse in the first place to double check. But I did think that they were going to come back after they came to whatever agreement or whatever negotiations they were making. I thought at the end they would come and say something after the negotiations were over. But
like Nick accepts the plea or whatever deal is made, like Nick accepts it or denies it, and then they set a court date. It's what like we were waiting for. Yeah. I never expected them to sit there and try to negotiate in front of us or anything. But yeah, I thought they would come in and give a statement of on the record of what to do from here. Yeah. But that happened. So wow. Okay, so I assume you'll leave the courtroom because you're here now. you guys last time, Nick, and I didn't jump you, but like he kind of popped out of the blue and was like recording you. Were you worried about that happening again? Were you ready? Like we talked about this. What happened?
Yeah, I said to the other person, I was like, last time Nick ran downstairs and recorded me as I was coming out, so we have to be ready. That might happen. And but
I feel like it wasn't gonna. I feel like it wasn't gonna happen again because like Nick got so embarrassed last time that he ran out to do the recording that it would just be the shame of it all.
that was not the case. So, yeah, got down there and we talked a little bit. Oh, we stopped at the metal detector, the guy that's running the metal detector, and I asked about tomorrow's court hearing. And I asked if that's going to be open to the public. What is that? And he said, no, that's going to be a phone conference.
Oh,
So I don't think Nick even has to show up to the courthouse tomorrow.
that's an interesting. Would that be live stream then? Like when they say phone conference, they almost certainly mean Zoom conference. So is the Monty case going to be Zoom? Is that going to be streamed? Because that's in the civil court, so he still owes $300 to Montegraph.
Oh wow. Okay. So you and the Kiwi farmer were talking. You said
Just a little tiny bit. I said, did I miss anything before I got there? And they said, no. Just some awkward exchanges between Kayla and April.
Wow. What was the Kiwi farmer person like? I mean, not to describe him or anything like that. I'm not trying to dox him, but they just like a regular person. Like I remember Ethan said a bunch of terrible things about him. I think I saw some video of them a while back, but like
Totally normal. Yeah, totally normal.
just a normal regular person, just regular like you, just showing up to see what was going on.
Exactly. Yep.
Did they share the notes? Did you check the notes out?
I saw them online when I got home.
Were you in the notes? Were they like, this bitch was talking to me, I don't like her?
No.
Yeah. Okay, she should have. That'd have been a better story. Okay, so you know, so you guys leave the courtroom, and I think you said you get in your vehicle, and then there's more to the story. Like, what else happened?
So yeah, I went out to my car and I checked out Breaking Baldo News right away, and they had
Shout out to Breaking Baldo News. I talk to him every now
Oh
and
my goodness. Rekieta breaking Baldo on Twitter. He's getting too powerful, too big for his britches. Nah, he's a good guy. He retweeted my stream today, actually. I mean, he usually does, but it's so funny how much feltoning this guy has caused to Nick in particular.
He's a real nice person. Been very nice to me. I don't know. He's known with other people. I'm not trying to divide, but Baldo has always been cool to me. So there you go. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I was still confused about what was going on, and they actually had the next court date. They knew more than I did, and I was at the courthouse. So, and I said that actually before me and the Kiwi farmer went our separate ways. We were confused. We were trying to remember what the bailiff said, the exact wording of what, and neither one of us could remember what he said. But then, right as we were getting ready to separate, I was like, "Oh, Breaking Baldo News," and I read it out loud. But I was like, "Oh, I guess there's another court date on December 17th." And yeah, we both like kind of giggled and went our separate ways.
This is so funny. This is like bringing people together in friendship. It's like a flower growing out of a pot of dirt. Isn't that special?
So you told me you're driving, and then you like get behind April or something like that. Like what?
Okay, no. So I stayed outside, checking some things out, and I got a phone call that I had to take. And while I was sitting there on the phone, they came out of the courthouse. They went across the street to their vehicles, and April went to her truck. I mean, I couldn't see. There was a building in the way, so I couldn't see them when they got in their vehicles. So I didn't see if anybody was hugging or anything like that. But April came out in her truck, and then Kayla and Nick came out in their car, their Lincoln Navigator.
A nice car.
And
was it like $90,000?
So I don't know. So the rumor about April not having a license, I don't think that's true. And then the rumor that Nick might have lost his license might be true.
Like, what is this about Nick losing his license? Like, is there actually more to that? Like, or is it just that Kayla was driving? Is that the only Oh my goodness, the Fs. Yes, post the Fs. It's midnight in Japan, and the neighbors turned off the Wi-Fi. They told me to go to bed. No, just a regular toe swats. Yes, the toe striked me again. All the people. All right, we'll continue.
Speeding tickets and stuff like that,
Is the
right?
audio
I assume
still
that's what
working?
that is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I do homework before I go in.
You're so
And
back.
so
Yeah,
I
you're so
was
back,
reading
Jack.
all the different theories and stuff, and yeah, I saw those things just to know what to look out for, and you know, what do people want to know? And,
That's pretty.
yeah,
Cool.
that's one of the theories out there, and yeah, so Kayla was driving.
Wow. So again, you said they looked defeated, like all of them looked defeated.
Driving.
What do you
That's
mean
weird.
by that? I kind of want to go over that one more time.
Well, last hearing, he seemed more defiant, and like just that. I don't know. It's like a pent up aggression he seemed to have. Like he was just holding back. Like he could have burst at any moment. Is how I felt last hearing. This time, the vibe was much more subdued. A lot of looking at the floor. All three of them looking at the floor a lot. To me, it looked like the girls had been crying like recently, especially April.
Puffy
and
eyes,
the other
just like their vaginas.
They thought the same
Puffy
thing.
Vaginas.
Wow.
I thought something productive could come of it. I would, but I just don't see anything productive coming from talking to Nick or April. I mean, they seem to be very set, and I don't think anything I say or do is going to change anything. So I don't see the benefit of it. Now Kayla, who knows what she's thinking since she stays offline, and but it does seem like she's determined to stay.
Just loading up the next
Kayla
content.
and Nick look like a couple, or did April and Nick look like a couple? You know what I'm saying?
It seemed like an awkward throuple.
So it looked like they were all together, like that they're a group, that they are together.
I mean,
the real question is: so April obviously loves Nick. Does Kayla love Nick, or does she just hate April at this point in their love triangle?
The time I saw them all together was standing there in the courtroom. So I saw the little interaction with Kayla and April, and they stayed on opposite sides of the hall.
It's worth noting that April doesn't come to Kayla's court hearings, just to Nick's.
So they did not seem like they were together.
So when Nick was inside the courtroom and stuff like that, and you guys were outside of it, they didn't talk to each other, they didn't hang out with each other, they didn't do anything together or react or anything like that.
No, there was the interaction about the food, and then Kayla walked down the hall, put the food somewhere, and then came back. And when she did, she stood against this wall, facing April. April stood against this wall, so they were on opposite walls.
Wow.
And it didn't really talk that I heard.
Right, you would think they'd be next to each other, hanging out with each other like a solid unit, going to court together, but no, they were separate.
Yeah.
Wow, that's wild. Did they look healthy?
You know, I don't know if they were tired or, this is all weighing on them. Weight wise,
are they fat?
Yeah, I guess. I know April's always been thin, yeah, Kayla looked. I don't know if it was the outfit or what. She looked a little thinner than the last hearing. Again,
wow.
Might have been people's comments about her.
She's got to stay competitive. April's getting thin, eating salads all day. She's got to up her game. It's competitive over there.
Yeah,
that's why Nick keeps her around. Got to keep her on a game.
Did Nick touch him? Like, did he put his arm around any of them? Like you said, Kayla kind of claimed him. Did he put his arm around any one of them other than the hug?
Oh yeah, not after the hug. No.
Wow.
He was standing like with his arms crossed, and Kayla was putting her hand up on his elbow for quite a while.
Wow.
April stood back and just down, back over, down. Yeah, she looked uncomfortable with that.
All right, Kay, well, it seems like you've said everything that you...
All right, that seems like the end of the interview. So that's on Will Herren's TV's Will Herren. So